Look at those tires. Go ahead, really look at them. That chalky, faded, crusty brown coating sitting on what used to be a perfectly black, factory-fresh sidewall. That color is not dirt. That is not road grime, that is oxidation. That is what happens when the rubber your tires are made of is slowly, methodically dying from the outside in, baked by ultraviolet radiation, cracked by ozone exposure, and left to rot while you keep spending money on products that promise to fix it but are actually, and I mean this literally, making it worse every single time you apply them. You have been lied to. Not by accident, not by ignorance, by design. By a $5 billion detailing industry that discovered something extraordinary decades ago, something that costs almost nothing, something that actually works, and then buried it under 40 years of petroleum-based marketing and greasy, overpriced gels that turn your tires into dirt magnets and leave brown streaks down the side of your car every time it rains. What I am about to show you costs $1, and it will restore your tires to that deep, satin, matte factory black in under 10 minutes. It will do it without leaving any greasy residue, without slinging onto your paint at highway speeds, without attracting brake dust, and without washing away the moment a cloud opens up above you. But here is what the industry absolutely does not want you to know. That $1 solution is not a chemical. It is not a synthetic compound engineered in a lab. It is a naturally occurring substance that has been used by rubber manufacturers themselves for well over a century. A substance so simple and so effective that the moment the detailing companies figured out it existed, they had one choice: hide it. Because you cannot patent water. You cannot build a subscription model around something every pharmacy in America sells for 99 cents. You cannot manufacture dependency when the solution is self-sustaining, permanent, and costs less than a stick of gum. So they did what billion-dollar industries always do. They invented a problem. Then they sold you the cure, and then they made sure the cure caused the problem all over again. Welcome to the buried blueprint. I am about to hand you the exact formula, the exact science, and the exact step-by-step process to reclaim your tires and walk away from the detailing industry's most profitable scam forever. If you are the kind of person who refuses to be manipulated by corporations hiding simple truths behind expensive packaging, hit subscribe right now and ring that notification bell, because what we expose on this channel goes far deeper than tires. This is just the beginning. Now, let me show you what that $1 fix actually is, because I am not going to make you wait. You deserve to know immediately. The solution is pure vegetable glycerin. That is it. Pure vegetable glycerin, mixed 50-50 with clean water, applied to a clean tire sidewall with a foam sponge, left to absorb for 10 minutes, then wiped down. That is the entire formula. And when you do it, what you will see happen to that brown, chalky, sun-destroyed rubber is going to stop you cold. The oxidation will dissolve, the chalky gray film will lift. And underneath it, waiting like it never left, is the deep, rich, satin matte black that your tires had the day they rolled off the factory floor. But here is where it gets interesting. Here's where the science separates this from every other tire product on the market, including the $20 gels sitting on the shelf at your auto parts store right now. Glycerin is what chemists call a humectant. That word comes from the Latin humectare, meaning to moisten. A humectant is a molecule with a specific and remarkable property. It actively attracts water molecules from the surrounding environment and binds them to whatever surface it has been applied to. When you rub glycerin into the sidewall of your tire, it does not sit on top of the rubber like a wax or a gel. It penetrates. The molecular structure of glycerin, which is a simple 3-carbon chain with 3 hydroxyl groups attached, is small enough to slip into the microscopic pore structure of vulcanized rubber. And once it is inside those pores, it begins pulling moisture from the ambient air around it and delivering that moisture directly to the polymer chains that make up the rubber compound itself. This matters because what causes a tire to turn brown is not surface contamination. It is dehydration at the molecular level. Rubber is a polymer, and like any polymer under prolonged UV exposure and ozone stress, it oxidizes. The technical term the industry uses is blooming, but what is actually happening is that the antiozonant compounds built into the rubber during manufacturing, compounds like 6-PPD and other wax-based protective agents, are migrating to the surface of the tire as a defense mechanism against ozone degradation. When those compounds oxidize on the surface, they turn brown. That brown film you see is not your tire getting dirty, it is your tire bleeding out its own protective chemistry trying to stay alive. And here is the critical part. When glycerin penetrates the rubber and rehydrates the polymer chains from the inside out, it slows that migration dramatically. The rubber no longer needs to sacrifice its internal chemistry to the surface because the cells themselves are no longer dehydrated and stressed. The blooming stops, the brown stops, And because glycerin dries completely to a non-tacky, non-oily finish, it does not attract the brake dust, road grime, and particulate matter that makes every commercial tire gel look disgusting within 48 hours of application. There is no sling. There is no greasy stripe on your rocker panel after your first highway drive. There is no brown tide line after rain. The tire simply looks black, authentically, deeply, factory original black, and it stays that way. Now let me walk you through exactly how to do this, step by step, so there is absolutely no confusion and you get the result the first time. Step 1. Clean the tire first. This step is non-negotiable, and it is the step most people skip, which is exactly why their results are inconsistent. You cannot rehydrate rubber that is buried under a layer of old gel residue, brake dust, and road contamination. You need to scrub the sidewall with a stiff brush and a dedicated tire cleaner, or even a simple mixture of dish soap and water. Scrub aggressively. You want to remove every trace of whatever product has been previously applied to that tire. Rinse it completely and let it dry. If you try to apply the glycerin to a wet tire, the water will dilute your mixture and reduce penetration. The tire needs to be surface dry before you move to step 2. Step 2. Mix your solution. You will need pure vegetable glycerin, not glycerin soap, not glycerin-infused lotion, pure vegetable glycerin, USP grade, which means it meets United States Pharmacopeia standards for purity. You can find this at any pharmacy, any health food store, or online for roughly 99 cents to $2 for a 4-ounce bottle, which will treat every tire on your vehicle multiple times over. Mix it in a spray bottle or a small bowl at a 50-50 ratio with clean water. If you want a slightly more aggressive treatment for extremely sun-damaged tires, you can push the ratio to 60% glycerin and 40% water, but the 50-50 blend works beautifully for most applications. Step 3. Apply with a foam sponge. Do not use a microfiber towel for the application. Use a foam applicator pad or a cheap foam sponge from any dollar store. Foam applicators press the solution into the rubber rather than dragging it across the surface. Work the solution into the sidewall using circular motions, making sure you cover every millimeter of the rubber face, including the lettering and the bead area near the wheel. You do not need to drench the tire. You want a thorough, even coating. Step 4. Let it work. This is where the magic happens, and where most people get impatient and ruin their results. You need to walk away for a minimum of 10 minutes. 15 is better. During this time, the glycerin is penetrating the pore structure of the rubber and beginning the rehydration process at the polymer level. Do not wipe it off early. Do not add more product. Just let it absorb. Step 5. Wipe the excess. After the soak time, take a clean, dry microfiber towel and wipe the sidewall in one firm pass around the entire tire. You are not scrubbing. You are not polishing. You are simply removing the surface excess that did not penetrate, so you are left with only what has been absorbed into the rubber. When you wipe that final pass and step back, what you will see will genuinely surprise you. A deep, even, satin, matte black finish with zero shine, zero grease, zero residue. The rubber will look like it just came off the delivery truck. Touch it, it will be completely dry. One safety note before we move forward. Glycerin is one of the safest substances you can handle. It is used in food products, pharmaceuticals, and cosmetics. It is non-toxic, non-flammable, and non-reactive with rubber or paint. However, as with any tire product, avoid getting the mixture on your brake components, rotors, or drums. It will not cause catastrophic damage in small quantities, but brake surfaces should always be kept clean and dry. Apply it only to the rubber sidewall, work carefully around the wheel, and if any gets on your rim, simply wipe it off with a clean cloth. That is it. That is the entire process. $1. 15 minutes. Results that last weeks longer than any commercial tire dressing you have ever bought. Now let me tell you something important before I continue, and I need you to hear this clearly. Before I tell you exactly why the commercial products are destroying your tires, I need you to understand something about this channel and what we are building here. What I just gave you, this glycerin formula, is one entry point, one unlocked door, but there are dozens of rooms behind it. The same pattern of suppression, of billion-dollar industries hiding simple, cheap, permanent solutions behind expensive products engineered to fail, exists across every corner of your home, your vehicle, your garage, and your survival planning. There are buried blueprints for eliminating mold in your walls without tearing anything down, for stopping wood rot before it destroys your deck, for slashing your energy bill with a method that power companies have been lobbying against since the 1980s, for removing rust permanently from metal surfaces with a compound that costs $3 at any grocery store. All of it documented, all of it verified. all of it waiting in the complete buried blueprint vault. The link is in the description right now. Dozens of classified guides, one price, no subscription, yours to keep. Check the link in the description after this video. But stay right here, because what the detailing industry has been doing to your tires is something you need to understand completely, and once you do, you will never look at a tire gel commercial the same way again. Now let us talk about the enemy. Let us talk about what is actually inside that bottle of premium tire dressing that costs $20 at the auto parts store, and why the companies that make it have every financial incentive in the world to make sure your tires stay brown. The modern automotive detailing industry generates over $5 billion annually in the United States alone. Tire care products, specifically tire dressings, conditioners, and protectants, represent one of the most profitable subsectors of that market. And the reason those products are so profitable is because they do not work permanently. They work just long enough to impress you, and then they guarantee that you need to come back and buy more. Here is the chemistry that the label will never tell you. The primary active ingredients in almost every commercial tire dressing on the market are petroleum-based solvents and silicone compounds. These solvents, which include compounds like naphtha, mineral spirits, derivatives, and various aromatic hydrocarbons, are used because they produce an immediate, dramatic visual effect. When you spray or wipe a solvent-heavy tire gel onto a brown sidewall, the solvent dissolves and temporarily redistributes the oxidized surface layer, making the tire look dark and glossy almost instantly. It is like putting oil on a dirty window. The window looks clear, but the dirt is still there, and the moment the oil evaporates, you can see it again. But here is where it gets criminal. Those petroleum solvents are not neutral. They are reactive with rubber chemistry. Specifically, they interact with and accelerate the depletion of the antiozonant compounds embedded in the tire, the very protective chemicals we discussed earlier that migrate to the surface to fight ozone damage and UV radiation. Every time you apply a solvent-based tire dressing, you are literally stripping a layer of your tire's own defense system away. The solvents carry those antiozonant compounds off the rubber surface and evaporate with them, leaving the underlying rubber more vulnerable than it was before you started. And then, exposed to UV radiation and ozone without its chemical shield, the tire oxidizes faster. The blooming, that ugly brown discoloration, returns more quickly and more severely than it did before you applied the product. So you apply more product, and the cycle continues. This is not an accidental design flaw. This is an engineered product life cycle. The companies that formulate these dressings know exactly what their solvents do to rubber chemistry. They have access to the same material science literature that every industrial rubber manufacturer has. They know that repeated application of petroleum-based solvents accelerates tire oxidation. And they keep putting those solvents in the formula because a product that works permanently cannot be sold twice. A product that causes the problem it claims to solve can be sold every week for the entire lifespan of a vehicle. Think about the math for a moment. If one bottle of $20 tire gel treats 4 tires and lasts roughly 2 weeks before the tires start browning again, a car owner who buys into this system will spend between $400 and $500 per year just on tire dressing every year, for as long as they own a car. A bottle of Pure Vegetable Glycerin that costs $2 at a pharmacy will treat 4 tires roughly 6 to 8 times before you need to buy another one. That is $2 versus $400 per year, for results that are demonstrably better, safer for the rubber, and longer lasting. The industry prays you never do this math. The industry prays you keep picking up that glossy, fragrant, petroleum-filled bottle off the shelf because you remember the commercial and the way the tires shone in the advertisement. The industry has spent decades and millions of marketing dollars making sure the words silicone-enriched and UV protection and hydrating formula sound like science. But now you know what the actual science says, and now you have the actual formula. Let me also address something that automotive detailing enthusiasts often bring up when this topic surfaces, because there is a counter-argument that the tire dressing industry loves to lean on. They will tell you that glycerin is hygroscopic, meaning it attracts water, and therefore it will make your tires collect moisture and potentially accelerate degradation. This sounds plausible until you understand the difference between surface moisture retention and polymer-level hydration. The moisture that glycerin pulls from the air does not pool on the surface of the tire. It is drawn into the rubber matrix where it replaces the plasticizing moisture that UV exposure and heat have driven out of the polymer chains over time. Properly formulated and applied at the 50-50 ratio with water, the glycerin solution does not leave a hygroscopic film on the exterior. The excess is wiped away, and what remains is absorbed. Rubber in a healthy state contains a degree of moisture within its polymer structure. That is normal. That is how it maintains flexibility and resists cracking. What causes tire degradation is the loss of that internal moisture combined with the chemical depletion of antiozonants. Glycerin addresses both issues simultaneously. The petroleum solvents in commercial dressings address neither. They simply create a visual mask while accelerating the very damage they pretend to prevent. There is also the matter of what those commercial products do to your vehicle beyond the tires. You have almost certainly seen it. The brown, greasy, horizontal stripe that appears on the lower panels of cars whose tires have been dressed with a silicone gel product. That occurs because the high silicone, high solvent formulas do not fully cure on the tire surface. At highway speeds, the centrifugal force of the rotating tire flings that uncured product onto your rocker panels, lower door sills, and undercarriage. The silicone then acts as a bonding agent for road grime, and you end up with a layer of baked-on contamination that is genuinely difficult to remove and that can, over time, damage the clear coat on painted surfaces. Glycerin applied at the correct ratio produces zero sling, zero. Because it fully absorbs into the rubber rather than sitting on the surface as a liquid film, there is nothing to fling at highway speeds. Your paint is safe, your lower panels are clean, and your car looks like it belongs to someone who actually knows what they are doing, which, after today, you do. So here's the financial reality that we want to leave you with, because numbers do not lie even when industries do. The average American car owner spends between $300 and $500 per year on tire dressing products, assuming 2 to 3 applications per month at an average product cost of $15 to $20 per bottle. Over 5 years of vehicle ownership, that is between $1,500 and $2,500 spent on a product category that is actively damaging the asset it claims to protect. The glycerin solution costs $2 per bottle and can be used for multiple months before replacement. Over 5 years, even accounting for generous usage, you are looking at a total spend of perhaps $20 to $40. The difference, $1,400 to $2,400 over 5 years, is real money. Money that the detailing industry has been extracting from car owners by selling a harmful product disguised as a beneficial one. And the worst part is not even the money. The worst part is that car owners who have been using solvent-based tire dressings for years have unknowingly been accelerating the degradation of tires that cost $150 to $200 each to replace. Tires that, properly maintained with something like glycerin, could last significantly longer. So the industry is not just charging you for the dressing. They are shortening your tire life to sell you new tires sooner. The entire system is designed to extract money at every stage. And the exit door, the one they have been hiding in plain sight, is a 99-cent bottle of vegetable glycerin at your local pharmacy. If this opened your eyes, if you are sitting there right now genuinely angry that this information was kept from you, that is the right response. That anger is appropriate. And the best way to act on it is to share this video with every car owner you know, because the information only has power when it spreads beyond the reach of the marketing budget that tried to bury it. Subscribe to this channel right now. Hit the bell so you never miss a blueprint when it drops. Share this video directly to someone who is out there right now spending $20 on a product that is destroying their tires in slow motion. And know this: what I showed you today about the detailing industry is one thread in a much larger tapestry of industrial suppression that affects your home, your health, your energy bill, your structural repairs, and your emergency preparedness. Every single one of those threads has a buried blueprint attached to it, and we are pulling them out one by one. Check the link in the description for the complete buried blueprint vault. Dozens of guides, real chemistry, real results, one download, and the next blueprint opens soon. What is inside it is even heavier than what you just watched. You do not want to miss it.